Good morning and hello everyone. Welcome here if you are new and take your time to subscribe. So I've decided to take a little morning walk under the morning sun. This is some of the things I do to keep my sanity and also to take care of my mental wellness, especially because I am mostly around my home during the day. So today I thought that we get to know each other a little bit more because I thought it's important that you get to know about me. So today I'll be sharing about my story. I'll be sharing about who I am, the story of my life, what I have been through, what I have done, my successes, my failures, and I hope that my story resonates with someone and it gets to encourage them to be a better version of themselves and never give up on themselves. So let me find a better position. So I am born and raised in a family of 4 siblings. I'm the third born. We are all girls, and we grew up fairly well. So I am back in my favorite position under the banana tree because I felt my camera was shaking quite a lot, and also so that I really focus as I give you a story about my life. So let's begin. I am born in a family of 4 siblings. I am the third born. Growing up, life was fairly normal for us. We went through school in Nairobi. I went through school myself until I was in standard 5, which is grade 5 in today's system. In standard 6, I moved to a boarding school. And one thing that is consistent about my academic life, especially the primary part, was that I went through strictly Catholic schools. And so I'm sure most of us know how Catholic schools really run their institutions. So I was in that kind of setting for until I was in standard 8, where I completed well. I would say that as an student, I was an average student in primary school because I did fairly well and proceeded to high school. When I was in high school, things were a little bit different because I became more focused and my grades really improved. I started doing extremely well and became one of the top students in the school that I was in. My grades were excellent, and I maintained that until I was in Form 4. However, after I completed my Form 4, the grades I got, I just felt I could have done a little bit more better. So I decided to go back. So I did my Form 4 twice, actually. And what I would say about my second chance at Form 4, it was, I don't regret about it. I have thought about that a lot of times, and I have quite a number of reasons why I would say that looking back, I think I wouldn't have taken a different route. Why? Because one, I got out with a better grade. Two, I got to meet new people. I got to meet new school cultures. I got to be exposed to different school cultures that really have shaped who I am today. I did well and proceeded to university. But maybe I would add one thing that happened when I was in my first term, in my second chance at Form 4, was that I two things happened. One, I got an opportunity while I was in school. I got a letter that I had been admitted. I was being invited to pursue computer science in one of the universities here in Kenya. And interestingly, I had no passion in computer science. So I was like, thank God, I'm back in school. I'll get a better grade to do something else that I feel is better than uh, that aligns with my passion. And so when I settled, then word also reached to me that I had been invited by Equity Bank based on my performance to work with them before I join campus. But now I was already back in school. I had already returned to school, so I couldn't take that up. And one thing I learned from those two opportunities is that there are doors that open for you that are not necessarily meant for you. And so I did not take up any of the two opportunities. I didn't work with Equity, and also I did not go to pursue computer science. And so I concentrated on my schoolwork because I only had 1 year to study again and get good grades, which was my goal. And good grades I got. I got a better grade and was called to another university here in Kenya to pursue Bachelor of Economics and Finance, which is what I ended up doing. Life at campus was fairly good. I didn't struggle so much because I was there's what we call a job student and a self-sponsored student. So I was a job student. I was not self-sponsoring myself. So basically, I was paying very little, and I would my background or my parents, I would say, would afford it. It wasn't too high, so they paid for me for what was needed, and I studied well. I graduated successfully, and as every other student, I thought that once I am done with campus, the next thing is straightforward: find a job and begin a career. Let's wait for that. I live on so many aeroplanes pass through where I live. I think this is one of the most common pathways for most flights, local and I presume also international. I don't know, because I'm telling you, even before I finish this video, you'll have had another one. So in campus, I graduated well and thought once I am done, I will get a job and begin a career and flourish and all those things that we dream about. And of course, you also pray to God, but I realized that years were passing and I did not secure a job. Not even one. I could not find myself a job. I applied and applied, not even an interview. Not even an interview. I am not kidding you. But around the same time, I was deeply involved in Catholic ministry. So it also took away most of my attention because I would apply and leave it and forget about it, and keep applying and leaving it to. So I got myself busy, as anyone else would. You're hustling your way here and there. And so I served in my parish. These are lay mission works that I'm talking about, lay ministry in the Catholic Church. So I served in my parish, and I also got to travel around the country. And also, you hear another aeroplane. Yeah, I hope it does not affect the sound of this video. So yeah, I really got really involved in Catholic lay ministry, and I would not say that I wasted my time. I was really busy, and God was faithful because He took care of me and my needs around that time while I was serving, and that is service to God, because I was not serving myself, or I would not say there is a salary attached to it, but some way somehow I didn't find myself borrowing or living from hand to mouth. I just had something for myself and for my upkeep, which was really good, and I thank God for that. And I would say that was my professional training after campus. Actually, not what I studied. What my training and my formation, I would say professionally, was ministry. And life went on. I feel, and up to today, and life went on. Up to today, I wouldn't say that I have had any meaningful employment from what I studied in university. And of course, there is a time that got where I started wondering, what is all this? What's happening to me? Who am I? You know? So when I introduce myself and say, um, when people introduce themselves and say, I am this, I am a teacher by profession, I am an agronomist, or I am a lawyer, or I am all these careers. Who am I? Of course, I got into a crisis at some point, and but before that, I think I was in denial for so long. I think I should actually make a video about about unemployment. Yes, that's what I will do. So let me leave this for another video. So kindly subscribe to get to know now what do I do and what my journey has been. So basically what I'm saying is that I did not follow my career path as I had expected. So I continued with ministry, and I thanked God for it, because I was doing quite well. I was doing well. And there were opportunities here and there. By the way, it's true. The way the word of God says, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. It is so true. The harvest is plenty. The laborers are few. Because I'm telling you, opportunities, there are so many opportunities when it comes to working for God. So many. Even as I'm seated right here, I'm telling you, it's very easy to find an opportunity to represent God and work for Him. And I'm not saying that other career paths are not service to God. They are. Just that there's also the ministry work where people get to take care of the human person, of the soul, which will live forever. So I did not find a job till date, actually. And but one of the things I thank God for ministry, one of the blessings that ministry brought my way was getting to interact with God's people. Some of the things I'll tell you that I have learned in my life that have made me who I am today were not learned in lecture halls. They were not learned in classrooms. They were learned in prayer meetings. They were learned in retreats. They were learned in the time I spent interacting with God's people. And I do not regret about that, because it has also brought a bit of purpose in my life. Though I would not say I've gotten to a point where I say now I know my purpose, And I believe not everyone gets to that point where they now know what their purpose really is. I think it's a journey that you journey. It's a journey with God, where He keeps revealing to Himself what He requires of you, how He wants to use you newly every day, every season. So it's I think the best thing is to live a life that is fully surrendered to God and ready to go where He calls you to be. And that's the life that I live, and I basically that's the life I have chosen to live. Also, another blessing that ministry brought my way was um, getting a good friend who later became my husband. Our relationship grew from friendship, it matured into something totally deeper, and we got married, and we are now settled, and we are building a life together. We have a son, and yes, honestly, looking back, I could never have planned my life this way. Never. And it has taught me one thing, that God writes different stories for different people. We could have begun the same way in classrooms, and but our paths are totally different. And as I've told you, I had a moment of crisis, wondering who I am. But at the moment, I've gotten to a point where I really appreciate and value and embrace my life as it is, because the same God who is writing the stories of other people is the same one who is writing my story. Is the same one. Yes, there are people who are thriving in careers. Others have taken unexpected turns. Unfortunately, others are faster. Other people's life are slower. But I am convinced that I'm living the life that God orchestrated for me. The one that God carefully wrote for me. And He's the one who knows more than I do. He says in his word that His ways are above our ways, and His thoughts beyond our thoughts. And so I think my work is and our work, I'm not only talking about myself, even you who is watching me, and you probably feel you're not where you probably would have envisioned yourself to be. Your work is to trust in the Lord. Of course, do what you can, trusting in the Lord. Yes. And so that has been my life. And I've also learned one thing, that there's this thing called comparison. Comparison will lie to you that your life is supposed to look like someone else's. Comparison steals gratitude. It steals your peace and your joy. Comparison will steal your purpose. So the best thing to do is to actually embrace your life as it is. Not because it is the best, not to tolerate it and be content with it, but to survive it. Yes, you take up a day at a time. So So comparison is actually very dangerous, and it makes sure that you do not live in the moment. Of course, there is society that will look at you and feel, ah, they are judging based on how probably you began. You are a poor student, definitely your life will be the worst. You'll amount to nothing. They also look at someone else and feel, this was an excellent student, this will be our doctor, this will be our engineer, our, all those big things that people call big. And they are big, yeah, but there are bigger things. And there's something that is higher than what we do. There's a higher calling, there's a higher purpose. And so I don't know about your life, but that has been my life. Probably with time I will also, as I promised, you'll get to meet my family, you'll get to meet my husband, you also will share how we met and where what we are doing, how we are taking up life. Yes, that is the journey of life. So I want to encourage you today, you who is watching me. Have you, maybe let me ask you, have you really attained your goal in this life? Like you have reached at the top climax of what you had ever envisioned for your life? If you have not, I want to encourage you that with God, everything is possible. And when comparison wants to start eating you up, there is one verse in the Bible that really keeps encouraging me, that trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. As I said, I'm sharing my journey not because it is extraordinary, but because I believe that God is in every story. And I'm sure you will see God in my story. You'll see God in my story. So I want to invite you in this journey with me to embrace life. Embrace life. Embrace life. Embrace life. And let me talk also into the mental issues that we are having of late in our society and in the world, because it's a big thing, and it attacks those who are doing extremely well and also those who are doing extremely bad in life. I want to just tell you, if only you can embrace your life. Embrace your life. First, love what God has given you. First, learn to appreciate it. Sit down, count your blessing for today. Count your blessing, like literally sit down and start counting. Despite everything I'm going through, I have A, B, C, D. You'll actually realize you are way better off. You're better off than others. Again, I wouldn't want to encourage us to compare ourselves to others, but I'm just saying you are actually better than you are better than you actually think. You'll realize you are better than you actually think. As I've told you, comparison will steal gratitude, comparison will steal your joy, comparison will steal your peace. It will finally steal your destiny and your purpose. So, embrace your life, embrace your journey. Of course, if you ask me, is there anything to be shameful about how my journey has turned out? Of course, I have reasons to feel, shame, that I am not where I had envisioned myself to be or where I would want to be. But I'm the one who will choose whether to be shameful, to feel ashamed. I'm the one to choose, but I'm the one to choose whether to condemn myself to shame or to be hopeful about the list of new life that God gives me every morning. To be what He called me to be, or what He wants me to be, or to be what I have ever imagined or envisioned myself to be. It's a new chance. So, to hell with shame. To hell with shame. You know, those are the things that are bringing us down. Again, if I would refer to something that I had, you know, what is killing you is not other people's expectation about you. It is your expectation about the expectations that people have of you. That is what is killing you. So, Ebu focus, Ebu mend your expectations. Ebu take your time and scribble down your expectations and cancel out on a few because they are not worth it. Live life of gratitude and finally you'll see God in all this. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. I hope you have gotten to know me a little bit more, what I do, where I am, what I have been. At the moment, I am where I've been, and that. And if you resonate with this in any way, just comment down there. What has life been for you? What journey are you on? Are you hopeful? Are you looking up to God? Me, I would strongly recommend God. I strongly recommend God. Yeah, I strongly recommend God. You see, the people sit down and start saying you are, you are. They trivialize God. You see how people sit down and trivialize God and godly issues and start saying you are being spiri, as they used to call it in my time. You are being overly spiritual. Life is spiritual. Life is spiritual. Yeah. And until you are gone, there is hope for every day. Yeah. So that's all for today. I urge you to engage with me. Comment down there, subscribe, and show some love. Until next time, bye bye.